Hello, everyone. Bonjour, and welcome back to another episode of Home Cooking. You got Bleska, the blessed one over here, and on the other side we have the chef Alan. How are you doing today?
We're just trying to make the most of the time before it snows, Bleska.
Yeah, we've been blessed with some nice weather, maybe due to some scientific issues, but we won't go too deep into that.
Mm.
But what's on the menu for today?
Yeah, for the listeners for this episode of our podcast, we're going to be treating you to the big news in the MLB, but also in major sports or professional sports in general. The hiring of Kim Ing or Ning or something else. Apparently, a couple videos on MLB.com do not know how to pronounce her name correctly. But at the end of the day, it's a huge hiring of the first woman to land a general manager job in a major association. And following that topic, we're just going to touch on something people can relate to in holiday shopping and all the fun stuff that goes with it.
To start with Kim Ming, it really ties in well with our previous episode that we touched on sports and women. So here's another great step for any woman that is looking to pursue a career in sports. I mean, this has been a long time coming for Kim. She's been in baseball for about 30 years. She was a intern with the White Sox. She worked with the New York Yankees,
Mm-hmm.
and I think she was the assistant GM of the Los Angeles Dodgers for a couple of years. And now she gets to be the first general manager in sports to be a woman, and that's a big title because she gets to make essentially all the decisions that fantasy owners dream about. Yeah, what do you think this means for for just anybody that needs a little bit of inspiration? What can you take out of this? Why now also?
Okay, so let me dive in. Let's start from the beginning. So, Bleska, when it comes to this topic specifically, two things that I really like. So we like sports, and we like women. So women in sports, it's a big thing. Um, yeah. So basically, we're in such a crazy time where we're seeing a lot of firsts, right? And like you see it in the states when it comes to like the vice president. Yeah, like she's a trailblazer in the sense that yeah, like not many like no one expected a female to be in that type of position, especially considering her background too. And bringing it back to sports here for Kim, she doesn't have the average or the considered to be the common background when it comes to a general manager, as most general managers, for to be honest, are mainly like domestic. So like they're mainly like American, even though you have a couple Canadians, and like diversity is not really that huge when it comes to executives in major league sports, and also when we take it to the next level when it comes to owners. But the big thing that we should touch on is how yeah, like as a trailblazer, Kim is doing something huge, and like you said, it's going to be important for any young girl, any young woman who aspires to lead and have a leading role in a major league organization, whether that be in the MLB, like NBA, NFL, or NHL. It just gives them an example to look to, and I think that's something that to be taken away, because even though like her journey was not short, and there's I'm sure that she had to struggle her way up, especially considering unfortunately just because she's a woman, and maybe also because of her background, just trying to work her way up from in a huge organization and a huge league in the world when you are not a player too, right? Because there's no way she would have been a player, because that's not something that happens. And maybe it will happen one day, Bleska. I don't know how you feel about that. If you think that will happen, where like we'll have like a blend of like men and women in like high level sports. But yeah, like she's setting an example, and it's important that people take note of it, especially for those who really need that inspiration to take that step towards like, hey, if this lady can make a career out of something that I dream about, like let's go.
Yeah, absolutely, and that definitely just opens the conversation to other organizations. the NHL, the NBA, and MLS potentially. It really just opens a conversation if MLB is able to be like, hey, we're gonna get this person who's the best for the job without, taking into account whatever the sex is. It really just it opens that door, she was the one that had to go through the window to get that opportunity out there, but it's great. And then here's a quote from the Marlins CEO, Derek Jeter. He said, her leadership of our baseball operation team will play a major role on our path towards sustained success. Additionally, her extensive work in expanding youth baseball and softball initiatives will enhance our efforts to grow the game among our local youth as we continue to make positive impact in the South Florida community. So right there, that just shows you her work also, that she goes beyond, the suit and tie and making the big decisions, whether it's on, free agency or trade deadlines. So other than that, would you like the destination of the Miami Marlins for her though, just from a baseball perspective?
Yeah, so taking in that type of context and putting that lens on for the Marlins, I think it's a good fit. Like she has the history of working her way up from an intern and working as an assistant general manager, and I think she worked as a scout too. But she's been in the game for at least 30 years. She knows what she's doing. She's taking over an organization that's on the rise, making the playoffs for the first time in quite a while, to be honest. And like people used to make fun of the Miami Marlins for such a long time, especially Bluska, because they were the what are they? They were like the Cleveland Browns of the MLB, and they never actually climbed the ladder and try to make year to year improvements. They were just trying to keep their budget for, like, in the MLB, you can have your payroll really low because there's no salary cap, right? And like you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, which are very successful for a small market team with a small budget, but the Miami Marlins are in a similar case where I don't know if sometimes it was because of their owners not trying to spend as much as they would like or can't really afford, but the Miami
Hmm.
Marlins have been at the bottom for a long time. And this past year, and it was just a pandemic season, and they were able to get into the playoffs, but even then, like they're on the way up, and having this new leader in place to try to build a sustainable winner long term. And they have pieces. They have a really nice pitcher that they got from the Phillies, and I think Sixto Sanchez. They have a couple prospects coming up too. Yeah, they're gonna be ready to hopefully go on a bit of a run. But yeah, I think it's a good fit at the end of the day.
Yeah, let me pull up some of her stats over here. So during her 30 years of experience, she has 8 postseason appearances, 6 league championship series, and
Okay.
3 World Series championships. So she's not a stranger to the spotlight, and she's been with winning organizations, and hopefully it changes the culture, and her and Derek Jeter can cook something up in a starving organization, as you explained there.
Okay, how about this? Baleska, I'm wondering if, like, people are afraid to take the chance, right? And sometimes,
Mhm.
like, the plunge. And do you think that this makes it a little bit easier to take that chance, or is it more of like, oh, so these guys already took the plunge? I'm just gonna let them have that publicity and recognition, but I'm still just gonna keep doing my own thing. Like, do you think it broadens their perspectives, organizations, or is it more of like, these guys did it, so it's okay? Like, I don't that doesn't mean that I have to do it, or I have to feel a little bit more inclined to do that. What do you think?
I think it's just like gonna be like a domino effect. Because have you seen the movie Moneyball?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's all about the X's and O's and the numbers, and there's no real restriction as to who can um can decipher them. It's just the best person for the job, and once again, I think it will open up the door for that, especially I think with office roles in major league sports, because that this is groundbreaking, really. Like we've seen the coaches, the refs, but this is a first. This is like the most powerful spot in terms of just making moves, right? So Like
exactly.
the destiny of an organization is in her hands essentially, and so I think I'm not sure how long it will take, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a number two in the next couple of years.
For sure.
But moving on from that topic,